Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Did you assume that you could compare yourself to those who ran out of time before you? Did you assume that you would get to the point of taking possession of the garden that is endowed with trees, rivers, and fruits like they did? They were among the believers who are patient in hardship. What happened to them has not yet happened to you. Adverse necessity and stress like poverty, sickness, and suffering not only reached them but also overtook them. As a result, they were so disturbed and troubled by the nature of the trial that the representative in spiritual authority, along with those who submitted and agreed with him, asked about the removal of their hardship. They said, "When will the help of God come that we were previously promised?" Help gradually came and strengthened them. They received the response from God. Surely the promised relief and support of God is close at hand. If God provides an opening for you, then victory is promised, and no false god can overcome you. A prerequisite for entering the garden is to be able to successfully overcome the trials and tribulations that are inevitable in one's life. When we understand that those who passed away before us went through their own trials and tribulations, it makes us realize that we have our own journey to undertake in order to enter the garden. This verse reminds us that God rewards those who are patient in hardship. There are times when we will face trials and tribulations and feel like all hope is lost. However, in reality, God is always near and capable of aiding, supporting, and relieving the distress. For example, the world is undergoing a metamorphosis. Several forces such as the pandemic, severe weather, and civil unrest simultaneously converged and caused worldwide stress and suffering. As a result, some people physically died, while others mentally, spiritually, and even economically died. However, with faith as a foundation, people of faith can witness and know with certainty that God's help is always near. This verse also reminds us that sickness and suffering are a test of life. An example of life stressors of poverty, sickness, and suffering with an ultimate reward can be found in the legacy of Henrietta Lacks. Her pain from cervical bleeding led her to a hospital where it was discovered that she had cervical cancer. A sample of her cancer cells were sent to a tissue lab where a cancer and virus researcher had been collecting cells from all cervical cancer patients who had come to that hospital. All the other sample cells quickly died in the lab. However, the cells from Henrietta Lacks were unlike any of the others. Where the other cells would die, the cells of Henrietta Lacks doubled every 20 to 24 hours. Her cells were the first, and for many years, the only human cell line able to reproduce indefinitely. Her cells have been used in research now around the world and have supported advances in most fields of medical research. Now just consider the fact that God made the cells of Henrietta Lacks to live forever. But it was through her pain and suffering that her cells came to the attention of the world. We never think of anything living forever and having an unending existence. Cells actually carry messages to all the organs of the body, and the cells of Henrietta Lacks carry messages to all the nations of the world. While her legacy is great as a medical legacy, it is even greater as a human legacy, as a legacy that connects all of mankind, as a legacy that brings all humanity back to the centrality of one God. For her unprecedented gift to humanity, Henrietta Lacks has secured her rightful place in human history. Life is a test and it's a trial. However, the test and its trial are not given to us for us to give up. If we remain steadfast, we get a measure of blessing and rewards equal to what we suffered, and then God adds to that many times over. This verse also reminds us that no false god can defeat us. These false gods appear in many forms, and they have the potential of taking over a life and destroying it. Some people have allowed harmful substances such as alcohol and narcotics, or problematic behaviors such as gambling and overeating, to have a power over their life should only be given to God. In order to be free of these false gods, people have to seek help in a power greater than the addictive substances and problematic behaviors. When we ask God for help, the promised relief and His support is close at hand. He will provide the victory, and no false god can overcome us. So in conclusion, we need a spirit to rise up to meet the challenge. Anyone who wants a life with no difficulty or a life with no challenge is really not living. When we meet the challenge, when we accept hard things that are in the way, it makes us stronger to do even more difficult and trying things. The suffering, pain, and difficulty that come with the challenge are training for the road that's up ahead. So be patient in hardship and know that the help of God is always near. May God accept this reflection and commentary. May He grant us guidance and wisdom. May He grant us patience, especially in times of adversity. May He strengthen our faith. So until the next time, fuel up on faith. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak.